Good evening and welcome to the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education meeting, March 17, 2025. Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Mrs. Varghese,
Here.
Ms. Calderon,
Here.
Ms. Guzman,
Here.
Mrs. Huang,
Here.
Ms. Keller,
Here.
Mrs. Martin,
Here.
Mr. Stankus,
Here.
Ms. Steffens,
Present.
Mr. Weaver.
Here.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing copies of said notice to the record, filing copies of said notice with the municipal clerks of Hillsdale, Montvale, Rivervale, and Wickliffe Lake, and publishing said notice in the record on August 26, 2024. Next, we have our monthly reports, and we'll start with Mr. Weaver and the Facilities Committee meeting report.
All right, so we had two meetings in the last few weeks. On the 26th, we met to discuss primarily auditorium work at both schools and the bleacher replacement at Hills. Hills auditorium work is wrapping up. Everything is on time and schedule, and for the most part, budget. I think there was some unexpected plumbing behind one of the walls that they had to reroute. And work at Valley will start this summer, and correct me if I'm wrong, Yas, but is scheduled to be finished by March.
Sooner than March.
Sooner.
They hope to be done by around the break, the Christmas break.
Okay. Less involved than Hills, because I know Hills had some asbestos abatement that needed to be done, removal of
Correct.
chairs. So I think the big question that was asked was, will the drama department and students have everything that they wanted and more? And I think the answer to that is yes. So much thanks to administration for ensuring that we're able to provide a state-of-the-art auditorium in both buildings. On the 10th, we discussed primarily the Hills seating, stadium, and bleacher for the soil remediation or erosion. That work is ahead of schedule, should be completed sometime by hopefully end of May, prior to graduation. There were some cables that were exposed that required a little more work and attention from a budgetary standpoint. That was unexpected, but it's great to hear that that work's getting done, that we'll finally have that project behind us, and that'll will hopefully be done for graduation. I know that I had some follow-up with administration, and my thanks for their responsiveness with regard to accommodating for handicap accessibility. I know it's been an issue in the past at Hills, and ensuring that, our guests can be accommodated for once games start up in the spring. And again, that follow-up is appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Weaver. Next, we have the Finance Committee meeting report by Mrs. Martin.
We met on March 3rd. We will likely be meeting, although it's not confirmed yet, next week for further updates. Some of the highlights were the fact that the estimated tax levy this year is going to be 3.42, which will exceed the 2% because of the continued rising costs with health insurance. The state aid will be increased slightly. However, that'll be quickly offset by some additional new expenses, such as natural gas and electric increases of in excess of 17%. We have some extra things coming our way with special ed related services, staffing. I know that as some of the retirements come up, depending on numbers and whether or not class size is conducive to potentially not replacing teachers. That has happened with the social studies and the media assistant. The budget is kind of underway for the 2025-26. Thank you so much, as always. Wonderful job. And I think that that's the big things, other things about that came up with the balance of the budget, I'm sorry, is the fund balance, the excess surplus will increase. The maintenance reserve withdrawal will increase an estimated $50,000 from the budget, and extraordinary aid will be budgeted. So those are some things that we're looking at for next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin. Next, we have Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology Committee meeting report by Mrs. Steffens.
Okay, so we met on March 11th via Zoom. Couple of things to note here is the laptop refresh status. We're on target for the summer, so that's exciting. Students are going to get backup machines. Instructions are going to be given out. We cannot sell our old stock of laptops, even though we asked why, but we found out that that's going to be too much of a process and it's not permitted. Science and music curriculum revision process, the science evaluation year process. Basically, there are no new courses, but shifts in research and genetics. There's a strong push on next-gen science standards phenomenon and real-world examples. Really excited about the new music evaluation process and pilot honors band choir for 25-26. World language 2-year evaluation process in year 1 in the survey. Midterm process review. The overview of the process, and we've been talking about the midterm process at length. I think the net result has been very positive with all of the feedback from everyone, student and teachers, regarding the actual sessions. The extra help has been amazing. 15 sessions for math extra help, 300 students per school for extra help, incredible turnout. 50 sessions for science before and after school in all 3 subject areas. They're averaging about 5 students per session between 7 and 8 a.m. and 3 and 4 p.m. Results of the midterm process have been in line with other course assessments, and they're continuing to evaluate all of these things, but the schedules are working very well for students and faculty regarding the midterm and the final. So I think that's really important that everyone's working together. We're looking at all the student and teacher feedback, and final exams are in process right now, planning. The review of the climate change, greenhouse, and the AI grant status. Very excited to report that we have received a climate change grant. We're one of only 10 districts in the state, and we've received $85,000 for that greenhouse construction at Pascack Hills High School, so that's wonderful. And this is really exciting, is the AI grant. We are the only one in Bergen County, one of 9 districts in the state. We've received a $75,000 grant for the AI in media literacy lessons, Gemini upgrades, and higher power Mac desktops, and college and career readiness, and VR, AR headsets. So very exciting times for us in the curriculum and technology department.
Thank you, Mrs. Steffens. Next, we have the student reports, and we'll start with Andrew Varian from Pascack Hills High School.
Hello, everyone. To start off my presentation, in classroom items, last week in Mrs. Scarice's Honors Forensic Science class, Syracuse professor Matthew Karimsky did a presentation on ballistics and firearms. During the presentation, Professor Karimsky discussed the increased use of 3D printed ghost guns, also known as silencers, and how they are involved in so many recent crimes, and described how the weapon was also used in the United Healthcare executive murder. Students had the opportunity during the presentation to examine a real-life 3D printed silencer, And overall, that class had a experience of, and hands-on experience learning about the evolving challenges of forensic experts in modern-day crime investigations. Next, in late February, 12 students from Pascack Hills upper-level Spanish classes embarked on an unforgettable 9-day journey to Valencia, Spain, led by teachers Avika Canova and Vanessa Lanchipa. The trip provided an immersive cultural and linguistic experience, allowing students to engage with real-life native speakers, as well as exploring historic landmarks and embracing Spanish cultures and traditions at firsthand. From visiting La Ciudad de las Artes y las Ciencias to harvesting oranges in Carcassient, students embarked and embraced every aspect of a Valencian life. Highlights included attending Conversa Spanish Institute for intensive language practice, as well as connecting with local high school students at the IES Luis Vives Institute, and even prepared authentic paella at a Spanish cooking class. Whether navigating the city via public transportation or shopping at the Carrera de Colón or enjoying Mediterranean at the La Playa de Valencia, students broadened their perspective and strengthened their overall Spanish skills. Reflecting on the class trip, Canova shared, "The experience exceeded my expectations. It was an incredible way to see how students are enjoying themselves, embracing the language, and growing confidence." By the end of their journey, students returned home not only improving their Spanish proficiency, but in also making unforgettable memories and new friendships with a deeper appreciation for Spanish culture. Next, on March 6th, students in the creative writing class at Pascack Hills had a virtual author talk with Neil Goldman, a screenwriter and producer for Apple TV's Shrinking, which stars Harrison Ford. Neil Goldman shared his experience for writing Scrubs, Community, and Family Guy. And additionally, he is the uncle of Zoe and Haley Green, who are both students who attend Pascack Hills High School. And lastly, for classroom items, Pascack Hills celebrated International Social Emotional Learning Day, which is a global campaign to promote and raise awareness for the importance of children's academic recovery and mental health and well-being. Activities included the following week, such as mindfulness workshops with Dr. Malia, board games in the Media Center, yoga with Miss Franceschi, and vision board creations in the Media Center as well. Special thanks to Mrs. Pollinger, one of the Hills vice principals, for helping organizing the week-long event. For co-curricular items, Pascack Hills DECA team traveled to Atlantic City on March 4th to March 6th to compete in the New Jersey State Development Conference. With over 45 members from Pascack Hills attending, they expanded their business knowledge and skills in various events, striving for top placements overall. The trip was an exciting opportunity for students to gain real-world experience and network, as well as represent Pascack Hills at the highest level for business. And additionally, 14 members of Pascack Hills DECA will be representing the state of New Jersey in Orlando, Florida at the National DECA competition in late April. On March 3rd and March 4th, Pascack Hills' Model UN team traveled to St. Peter's University to participate in the university's mock United Nations High School Conference, with 2 teams at Hills being recognized for their achievement during the conference. Senior Gail Gluck and sophomore Caitlin Whitlinger won honorable mention for best delegates representing the country of Denmark in Economic and Financial Committee. Additionally, sophomores Cadence Poe and Navia Pathak won best delegates in the World Health Assembly for representing Denmark. Congratulations to everyone on an amazing conference. And lastly, for co-curricular, during the week of March 3rd, the Environmental Club hosted a plastic bottle collection around the school, and the club also competed with Pascack Valley's Environmental Club to see which school could collect more bottles throughout the week. The club's overall goal was to reduce plastic waste and promote recycling awareness among students by encouraging students to participate in a friendly competition between schools. Unfortunately, Pascack Valley won and not Hills. For athletic items, on Monday, March 10th, the long-anticipated spring sports season officially kicked off, bringing athletes together from various teams eager to train and compete representing their school. And good luck to all the athletes, and have a great and amazing spring season. For academic awards, I would like to congratulate Elizabeth Huang and Zoe Green on their outstanding academic achievements. It was announced on March 5th that Elizabeth Huang, Mrs. Huang's daughter, is the class valedictorian, and Zoe Green is the salutatorian for Pascack Hills 2025.
Yay!
Their dedication, hard work, and perseverance has set an incredible example for their classmates, and this recognition is a testament to their commitment and excellent academics, leadership, and personal growth. As they prepare for graduation and their next chapter of their journey, we celebrate their accomplishments and look forward to seeing all they achieve in the future. Congratulations to Elizabeth and Zoe. And for my fun facts, on March 6th, the Pascack Hills Junior Prom took place at the Park Ridge Marriott, where students in 11th grade had a fun-filled night, which included dancing with their friends and eating delicious food. And additionally, for my fun fact, tomorrow night is the Senior Citizen Show for Pascack Hills Theater Production, or Pascack Theater Production of Legally Blonde. The show begins at 6 p.m. and there is no entry fee, and the show is free for all attendees. So you guys should go there tomorrow. And for my joke of the day, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, why don't you borrow money from leprechauns? Because they're always a little short. Thank you, and this concludes my board report.
Thank you, Andrew. Next, we have Ella Gokley from Pascack Valley.
Okay, so to begin my report for Valley, I'm going to start with our classroom items. So on February 25th, a delegation of 17 educational leaders from the AMIT Educational Network in Israel visited our school to explore the district's innovative internship program. With a strong emphasis on experiential learning, the visit provided the delegates with valuable insights into how Pascack Valley integrates real-world experiences into its curriculum and also fosters meaningful industry partnerships to prepare students for their future careers. AMIT leaders were particularly interested in learning how Pascack Valley has successfully built partnerships with local businesses and organizations, the training and support provided to both students and mentors, and also how the program aligns with the broader school curriculum. A key highlight of the visit was an interactive session with students currently participating in internships. Discussions also focused on scalability, with the Pascack Valley internship team sharing insights into how the program has expanded over time to accommodate a largely growing number of students. Given AMIT's interest in enhancing career-connected learning across its network of schools in Israel, the visit sparked meaningful conversations about best practices, implementation models, and also potential adaptations for their own educational system. So all in all, this exchange of ideas reinforced a shared commitment to preparing students for success beyond the classroom through hands-on real-world learning experiences, not only here at Pascack Valley, but also across the globe. For the second classroom item, PV STEM League teams recently competed in 2 different events. Abigail Comer, Lila Dolgoff, Olivia Glasser, Angelina Graham, Lydia Guerriero, and Madeline Wu competed in a STEM League challenge on February 27th at Bernard's High School, where they competed against 10 other high schools in a challenge called Glider Building. And students were tasked to design and fabricate a glider that could fly the greatest distance while carrying the greatest payload using limited resources. In addition, Greg Burdett, Anthony Lacage, Joe Murata, Tyler Miniker, Wojtek Petrowski, and Robbie Wasserman competed in a different STEM League challenge on March 4th at PCTI, where they competed against 8 other high schools in a challenge called Designing an Earthquake-Resistant Building. Students were tasked to design and fabricate a wooden tower that was mounted to a shake table. And so finally, our students will be competing in the final STEM League challenge for the 24-25 school year on May 21st, and it will be hosted by Northern Highlands, held at the Ramsey Municipal Pool. Moving on to PV's co-curricular items, on March 6th, the Pascack Valley Executive Council hosted its annual blood drive. We had many juniors, seniors, and also a lot of faculty members who donated blood for our community. PV has been hosting the annual blood drive for 20 years, and it's grown into one of the largest drives in North Jersey, so thank you to everybody who donated. For item number 2, around 40 members of the PV National Honor Society visited Meadowbrook, right across the street, on March 4th to celebrate Read Across America Week. So pairs and trios of NHS members spent around 30 minutes in each of the classrooms at the elementary school, and they brought and read age-appropriate books to each class engaged them in reading-related activities like reading bingo and Mad Libs, and provided all students with bookmarks, and it was a really fun morning for everybody. The next item is the PV Jazz Band received a silver rating and won the Outstanding Saxophone Section Award while performing at the NJAJE State Prelim on March 3rd. The band will perform at the NJ State Jazz Finals on May 3rd at Metuchen High School, and the PV Symphonic Band heads to the All North Jersey Region Concert Band Festival on March 20th this week at Mount Olive Middle School, and looks to follow up last year's gold rating with another strong performance. And lastly, for co-curricular items, the PV Model UN attended another great conference at St. Peter's University representing the country of Lebanon. Students worked with other nations to discuss the future of cities and resolve real-world issues. And a special congratulations to Nicholas Hernandez and Ava Pizzella for winning the award for Most Improved Delegation for the UNESCO Committee, and a great job to all. Moving on to athletic items, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame has collected Coach Jasper as a recipient of the 2025 Morgan Wooten Award for Outstanding High School Basketball Coach. The award recipients are selected by a national committee of Hall of Famers, national high school media members, tournament directors, and others who have made substantial contributions to the game. The 2025 Morgan Wooten Awards for Lifetime Achievement in Coaching High School Basketball will be presented on April 1st at Barclays Center as part of the pregame festivities for the 2025 McDonald's All-American Game. Overall, this award is a reflection of Coach Jasper's dedication, passion, and unparalleled contribution to high school basketball, and we're incredibly proud and happy for him and his family. Secondly, the PV girls swim team finished another really successful season. Congratulations to Amanda Bramley on being named first team All-Bergen County in the 100 backstroke, as well as being placed on the All North Jersey team. Amanda was the county champ in the 100 backstroke. Congratulations also to Amanda Bramley once again, Rihanna Krikorian, Maisie Catanzaro, and Alexandra Sinek for qualifying for the Swimming State Meet of Champions in the 400 free relay. Amanda also competed in the 50 freestyle and 100 backstroke, where she placed 6th in the entire state. The same 400 free relay and our medley relay were named second team All North Jersey. And lastly, congratulations to the entire girls team on being named Bergen County Team of the Year, and to Coach Sean Buchanan for being named Big North Liberty Division Coach of the Year. For the final athletic item, congratulations to the following PV girls basketball players on their all-county and all-league honors, and also congratulations to the entire team on being a state sectional finalist. This year's awards include Selena Busanich, first team all-county and first team all-league, Ava Burke, third team all-county and first team all-league, Raina Gibbs, third team all-county and first team all-league, Daniel Regula, second team all-league, and Kira O'Cathan, second team all-league. For my fun fact, during the week of March 10th, Valley celebrated our annual Class Cause Week with events throughout the week to raise awareness and fundraising for each of our class causes. The week kicked off with the PSA highlighting each cause and also advertisements for ways students could get involved. All grades decorated their designated hallways on the first floor, hosted events each day, and participated in the school-wide cornhole tournament, with all proceeds going to the class causes. The week culminated with the Valley Cup Assembly, which included a 3v3 basketball tournament, a relay, and a fun game of musical chairs. Great job to all grades on raising awareness and funds for these wonderful causes. And I also have a St. Patty's Day joke. What is a leprechaun's signature dance move? A shamrock shake. This concludes my report to the board.
Thank you, Ella. Next, we have approval of the minutes from February 24th for the regular meeting and the executive session. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon.
Yes.
Ms. Guzman.
Yes.
Mrs. Huang.
Yes.
Ms. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Yes.
Ms. Steffens.
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes. Next, we have the preliminary budget report for the 2025 to 2026 year by Cynthia Kirk, our Assistant Board Administrator.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm presenting the 2025-2026 Pascack Valley Regional High School proposed budget. Our budget process is a challenging and long process. The board, superintendent, and school business administrator begin dialogue on the budget around August and September. Budget managers submitted their budget requests on November 27th. The superintendent and school business administrator reviewed the budget requests and created the tentative budget in December. The finance committee and board are kept abreast of any significant increases in health insurance, salaries, and other benefits that will challenge the budget. This occurs January through March. The board approves the tentative budget tonight, March 17th. The school business administrator must submit the tentative budget to the county office by March 19th. The county office will approve the tentative budget, and the board sets the final budget for a Board of Education vote on April 28th. Our budget priorities. 1, to support the district vision, which is to create a culture of innovation, inquiry, and individuality that promotes achievement and choice by cultivating the skills needed to compete and collaborate as ethical and responsible global citizens. Also, to support the district mission statement. The mission of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District is to prepare our students for successful college and/or career experiences with the needed mindset, skills, structures, and knowledge to accomplish that goal. Now we have a look at our 2024-2025 school year at a glance. This is a look at how our district vision and budget initiatives continue to promote positive results for our school community. The next few slides are some pictures of what's been happening around the schools so far this year. And the pictures are courtesy of our marketing and social media interns, Josh at Pascack Hills and Isabel at Pascack Valley. So thank you, Josh and Isabel. First, we have some classroom shots around Pascack Valley. We also have Pascack Hills, that is the writing center, and we also have the photography lab. Pascack Valley Athletics, we're featuring bowling and volleyball in these pictures. And we have athletics at PV, wrestling, swimming, and tennis. We also have Pascack Hills cross country and lacrosse. And we have some basketball shots from Pascack Hills. This slide was provided by Dr. Backenheimer's curriculum department, and this is the Pascack Valley Regional Points of Pride, and we'll discuss this more in the next slide. So, the curriculum points of pride. Math and computer science. There's dual enrollment, AP, and pre-calculus. We have expanded our dual enrollment course offerings to include statistics, college algebra, discrete math, pre-calculus, and advanced topics in calculus. Enrollment is up to 158 students this year. In computer science, popular courses infuse concept and skills such as Python and cybersecurity. They may be useful for students in college and career. ELA, our writing center continues its success by expanding to include our peer tutors this year and services hundreds of students, especially with help with college essays. In science, YPro Science Teacher Leader Fellowship, we're a participating district. Participation in Climate Change Learning Collaborative. Grant for Greenhouse at Pascack Hills High School. And robust research in molecular genetics program with Rutgers University, Waxman. World language. 90 students in the district will receive Seal of Biliteracy recognition from the state, as well as Global Seal of Biliteracy recognition. Health and PE. We remain the only district in Bergen County and perhaps the state where 100% students and staff are not only trained, but certified by the American Heart Association in CPR bleeding control for 10 years running. 4 student lives have been saved as a result. The Regional Curriculum Office. Science. We've developed and implement a spiraled curriculum in our regional middle schools. Middle school teachers attended professional development regarding the best pedagogical practices in science classroom with high school teachers. Collaborative with Megadив Graziano to align instructional goals between the middle and high school. Curricular proposals. Enhanced schedule allowing students to enroll in an additional course if desired, now in its 5th year. Continue online and hybrid offerings like financial literacy and virtual high school. Updated technology and materials to keep the district on the cutting edge. New pilot course in music, honors band and choir, implementation of new required state curriculum standards, supplemental programs for ELL learners, professional development for AP and other programs, and expanded use of AI training and usage. Continued implementation of CPR certification and bleeding control training for all staff and students. Embedded real-world learning college and career training in various curricular areas. Continued focus on social emotional health, wellness, and mental health practices for students and faculty. Continued work with required state plans. Continued partnerships with universities and dual enrollment programs. Replacing laser engravers, treadmills, digital cameras, and student-used resources. Continued support of the Regional Curriculum Office, now in its 13th year. Other proposals. Expanding the use of Gemini AI in the classroom. Partnering with Insight Health to provide specialized mental health services and foster a safe and supportive learning environment. Addition of 17 new clubs between both schools. On to capital projects. This year we're budgeting one capital project at $1.6 million, and it is to replace the Media Center rooftop unit at Pascack Valley High School. And these are our sources of revenue for the 25-26 budget. Our revenue this year, upcoming year, will be $69,902,245. Of that number, 85% or $59.6 million will be the local tax levy, including debt service. Capital, maintenance, and emergency reserve withdrawals will make up just over $2 million, or 3%. A fund balance of approximately $2.6 million will be used. We're also budgeting $767,000 of tuition. That's where other districts pay to send students into our programs. And we're also budgeting $843,000 for miscellaneous revenue, which would be interest earned on our bank accounts, as well as facilities rental use and other miscellaneous items that arise during the year. Federal and state aid make up 6% of our budget of revenue at approximately $3.9 million. This slide compares the revenues between what we're projecting for 25-26 as opposed to this year 24-25. So you will see that we are increasing the use of fund balance by approximately $90,000 in the future 25-26 budget. Tuition and miscellaneous revenues are also budgeted to increase in the upcoming year. Our tax, our tax levy has also increased for the 25-26 budget year. We are using less capital maintenance and emergency reserves than we did in the prior year. And our state extraordinary and semi-aid are actually showing a decrease in the 25-26 school year. And the reason is, while we did get an increase in state aid of 6%, we are using less extraordinary aid in our budget this year, for 25-26. And this is because we're taking a conservative approach, because the allowable costs for special ed are becoming less and less qualified for the extraordinary aid reimbursement. So the general fund total for revenues this year is approximately $67 million. On to the budget expenditures. You'll see that of the $67 million budget, $19.5 million was spent on our instructional regular programs. Employee benefits make up approximately $10.3 million. Support services. These services can be for guidance, child study team, attendance, and health services at just over $8 million. Operations and maintenance are costs associated with the maintaining and safety of our buildings for $6.7 million. Tuition costs are tuition where we send our students, either special ed students to out-of-district programs, or this can also be for the Bergen Academies and Bergen County Technical Schools. That's $5.6 million. Instruction for special education, those are our in-house programs at $4.5 million. Transportation, $3.7 million. Athletics is just over $2 million budgeted. Co-curricular, just under $675,000. And capital outlay at $1.7 million. That includes what we like to call our capital project, budgeted at $1.6 million, and the debt service that we pay back through our state aid payment at $106,000 approximately. Also, the interest deposit to our reserves is $7,000 budgeted for the next school year. So this slide shows these expenses we just talked about on a pie chart. You will see that the regular instructional programs take up about 29% of the budget. Employee benefits are about 15.5%. Support services at 12%. Operations and maintenance about 10.1% of the budget. Tuition at 8.4%. And then the amounts get smaller as you go on, with administrative support at 5.8%. Special education instruction 6.8%, transportation at 5.6%, athletics at 3%. Our capital outlay is 2.6%, and other and co-curricular at about 1.1%. So on this slide, we're showing our expenditures again, but we've regrouped them to highlight how different areas of the budget are spent. We wanted to highlight that salaries account for $36.3 million of our budget. Employee benefits remain the same as the prior slide at $10.3 million. Services are about $5.8 million. Tuition at 5.6, and the rest stay fairly in line. Transportation, supplies and textbooks at $1.5 million. Utilities are approximately $1.13 million. Other is $771,000, and then capital outlay again at $1.7 million. This slide shows those costs regrouped in the pie chart. You'll see that salaries are approximately 54.2% of the budget on their own, and employee benefits make up 15.5%. Now, out of this total pie chart, if you actually took capital outlay out of the equation at the 2.5%, the salaries and benefits alone would be approximately 71.5% of the budget. Our 25-26 budget. So the general fund tax levy is $57,582,399. This is a 3.42% increase. This includes the use of the health care adjustment that we were afforded due to the rising health care costs, $792,000. Factors that contributed to our increases from the 2024-25 budget going into 25-26 budget are an increase in special education programs and services at approximately $386,000, operations maintenance at $383,000, and athletics and co-curricular increases at $113,000. Some of the increases in athletics and co-curricular are due to the addition of clubs as well as the increased officials' fees. On to taxation. Why is there a difference among the sending districts in the amount of taxes needed to support the regional budget? The formula for tax sharing among the sending districts is strictly governed by New Jersey education law. The Board of Education has no taxing authority. The tax formula is based on taxable property, wealth, and student enrollment. A calculation is performed each year by the state to arrive at the municipality's tax levy. This is known as percent share. So again, the total tax levy for 25-26 will be $59,659,299. You can see on this chart that the percent share varies, with Hillsdale at the lowest at 22.745% and Montvale this year at the highest at 26.683%, and the taxes are allocated accordingly. So the overall increase is 3.33%, and this is different than that 3.42 we mentioned earlier because this accounts for including the debt service, which brings that total percentage down a little bit. This chart shows the tax effect on each of the municipalities for the 2025 year. So in Hillsdale, the average assessed home at $476,683 would make a 2025 tax of $3,774, and the estimated annual increase would be $121.21, with an increase per month of $10.10. In Montvale, the average assessed home is $549,603. The 2025 tax is $3,770, and the estimated annual dollar increase is 38 cents, an increase per month of 3 cents. In Rivervale, the average assessed home is $592,000. The 2025 tax is $3,949. The estimated annual dollar increase is $54.95, and the increase per month is $4.58. In Woodcliff Lake, the average assessed home is $944,047. The 2025 tax would be $5,852, and the estimated dollar increase annually is $59.59. The dollar increase per month, $4.97. So this chart shows the tax impact history. Here we show 8 years of tax history, which shows percent share and the increase or decrease for each municipality. The main thing to see with this chart is that you can see the fluctuations and how it varies from year to year. Some years a town can have a decrease, another year they can have an increase, and it's always fluctuating. And we keep track of that on a rolling basis and always present 8 years worth of information. Does the board have any questions?
Anyone? Questions?
That was terrific, Cindy. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
No one? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next we have comments from the public. Citizens are invited to make comments regarding agenda items and are limited to 3 minutes according to the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education Policy Number 0167. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, sign in, state their name, town of residence, and which agenda item they are referencing. Anyone? No? Okay. Next, we have policy, for which we have 4 consent agenda items. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Can we hold off on the HIB vote until after executive session?
Yes, we definitely can. Which one did you want to talk about in executive session?
I would like to talk about 28829.
I actually would like to talk about A, 287818.
Yeah, that's what I just, so if we want to talk about one of the two that's listed here, this would, the other two that were the new ones aren't in here for a motion. So you do want to talk about one of these?
I think that's the one, right, Jenny? That's the one. I was
281878. Unless I wrote the number down wrong. I think it's that first one.
I think it's that first one as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
I don't think it'll take long, but I had a question about it. Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess without just 3B is what we're going to approve?
You could,
Or should we just wait?
Yeah, you
could Okay.
just hold the whole,
Okay.
number 3, yeah.
So we will approve policy items number 1, 2, and 4, and discuss number 3 in executive session. Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus, Yes. Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes. Next, we have education, for which we have 2 consent agenda items. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Se-
Any discussion?
A second. I thought I seconded, but somebody else said it.
Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus, Yes. Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes. Next, we have human resources, for which we have 10 consent agenda items. Can I get a motion, please?
Move. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Abstain 6, yes to everything else.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes. Next, we have finance, for which we have 18 consent agenda items. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just had a quick question on 7. I guess next time we do these, can we get like a cost of what these cost to attend? 'Cause-
It used to be attached, but it wasn't this time.
You can click on it.
Oh, I can't click on
Yeah,
it?
so if you click on the
Oh,
link that we
okay.
get, when we get the finalized agenda, it goes into
It goes into it?
everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
No to 7, yes to everything else.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Abstain 7, yes to everything else.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes. Next, we have old business. Anyone have any discussion on the monthly suspension?
Ms. Stephens just noticed something that was omitted, and I see now how it got omitted. You're right. Can I just make a
Yeah,
quick
of course.
comment? So just going back to HR, there should also have been a motion to include Jason Steffens as volunteer golf coach. So I'm wondering if we could actually go back and approve that. So it should actually read, Athletic appointment, resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education, at the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the following athletic appointment for the 24-25 school year. It should be Jason Steffens, PHHS golf volunteer coach at a volunteer position.
So should we do the roll call again? Because
Yeah,
motion?
I was going to say, let's see what Yas
Okay.
thinks we should do to crack that. Thank you.
Motion to do that.
Okay, so any second?
Second.
Okay, okay, and any, do we need discussion? No. Okay, roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Abstain.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes, but only because I've heard he's improved his short game.
Let me get that in. Mrs. Varghese.
Yes. Okay, so, any old business to discuss?
I just wanted to say real quick, we mentioned at the last meeting we were invited to the play, and I wanted to say I went. This, I'm calling it old business,
Yeah.
but, and it was wonderful. I hope everyone goes. And you don't have to take my word for it. My 12-year-old, who said, I think I'm going to fall asleep in this play, walked out saying, wow, that was pretty good. So, just putting that out there.
Thank you, Ms. Guzman.
I want to second that. It was terrific. We had a great time.
I'm going to third that.
Encourage everybody to
It
go.
was excellent.
Nice, thank you. Any new business? Next, we have comments from the public. Citizens are invited to make comments and are limited to 3 minutes. According to the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education, policy number 0167, persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, sign in, and state their name and town of residence. Anyone wishing to speak?
Hi, everyone. Elizabeth Miller from Montvale. I just wanted to follow up on saying a huge thank you because it has been. There we go. I just want to say a huge thank you because it has been so great to see so many board members and so many staff at the play. Thank you for coming to see our kids shine. But also, if you haven't been, there's still time because we have a Thursday night show, a Friday night show, and a Saturday night show. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you next weekend.
Thank you, Mrs. Glugler. Okay, next we need a motion to enter into executive session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
And I think we could say maybe no more than, I would say, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And action will be taken specifically on the item that we just tabled when we return.
Thank you.
All right. So
We're
you-
just going,
Okay, thanks.
we're just going back
We're
into
just going back,
regular session.
right, but we did that back there. So
Right, okay.
we're in open session.
Okay, we are in
So we
open
wanna-
session.
We want to do, what, item 3?
Mhm.
What was it?
3.
3 for policy,
Policy.
including the
Supplemental,
correct?
yes, all
Okay.
3.
All right.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Usami.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Ms. Guzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Huang,
Yes.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
and Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Do we need roll call?
No, you don't. You can
We are
just say,
adjourned.
Does anybody